Deep in the Romanian rainforest, surrounded by emerald trees and an alluring landscape, a national hero emerges. Arthur the bear. At only 17 years old, he became the largest bear in Europe. His magnificence is undeniable. As king of the Romanian protected wilderness, Arthur remains an idol to the Romanian people. Look at how photogenic he is.
Or was.
So how did such a tragedy even occur in the first place? In May of 2021, the Liechtensteinian Prince Emmanuel murdered Arthur the bear in cold blood, causing Romanians to grow furious. A foreign entity ending the life of a national idol? It was unheard of. Nationalists quickly latched onto Arthur's death and used it to their advantage to spread one of their core beliefs, xenophobia. By pitting the entire nation against the Liechtensteinian prince, Romanian nationalists were effectively able to unite the entire country under a fear of foreigners. So why is this a problem? Unity, no matter how it is accomplished, is good, right? The answer is actually no.
Prominent Romanian officials have been able to use nationalist sentiment and the fear of those outside Romania to spread problematic ideas. The Alliance for the Union of Romanians, otherwise known as AUR, is the primary political party within Romania and is headed by nationalist George Simion. The AUR has embroiled itself in the conflict surrounding Arthur the Bear and used extreme nationalism to turn the issue into an opportunity to spread racism and homophobia, along with an aversion to the concept of the COVID-19 pandemic and mask wearing. The AUR has even targeted pop culture, with artists who are close friends of Simion releasing pro-AUR music.
Yet, Romanian nationalism isn't a new concept, as it can actually be traced back to the era of the Cold War. Until the end of the Cold War, Romania was governed by a communist Soviet Union. The Soviets' power over Romania was a direct result of King Michael's forced abdication of the Romanian throne after World War II. In 1965, a communist leader named Nicolae Ceausescu stepped into the spotlight and pushed a repressive agenda onto the people. 24 years later, in 1989, protests in a Romanian city sparked national outrage and caused the execution of Ceausescu and his wife. It was after his death that a former ally decided to implement and promote a democracy. Up to this point, however, nationalist ideas were festering within the people as they were wary of foreign intervention in the country's politics.
Since these times, the AUR has exploited the past anger towards governments and people outside of Romania. The AUR has been able to use nationalism as a facade to instill discriminative ideas within the people. Thus, events like the murder of Arthur the Bear add further fuel to the fire, allowing the AUR to take even more steps toward pushing their own xenophobic agenda. But the fight against nationalism is far from over. Measures must be first taken in order to ensure that the recent tragedy surrounding Arthur the Bear does not cause further tension. This can be done through first appeasing the angry nationalists and then attempting to dismantle some of their core beliefs. Diffusing the situation would include instituting sanctions on Liechtenstein. It would be effective to institute sanctions on stainless steel, which is Liechtenstein's largest export. While this would hurt Liechtenstein's economy, Romania would not be affected as the country produces large amounts of stainless steel itself.
However, the ideals running through the Romanian Nationalist Party are still dangerous, and a change in leadership for the AUR would be the best way to begin to quell these ideas. Ideally, the new AUR leader would still appeal to the nationalist sentiment of the Romanian people by using populist rhetoric, but not promote extreme radicalism when it comes to discrimination like homophobia and xenophobia.
First, however, current party leader George Simion needs to be expelled from power. This can be done by playing to former controversies that already exist about Simion. Specifically, he has already been criticized for helping two soldiers who allegedly helped to repress the 1989 Romanian Revolution become part of the Romanian parliament. By using a strategic propaganda campaign to emphasize that Simion's assistance of these soldiers shows that he is not a real nationalist, his own party can be turned against him.
It is devastating that the loss of a national hero was exploited by Romanian nationalists. But we can avenge Arthur's death by moderating the AUR and ensuring that George Simion is removed from power. After all, how much more can Romania bear?